out today. That is massive stakes on the line for this team, and Geekay Esports, with nothing to lose, may give them a run for their money.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, the series will get underway. It'll be interesting to see who will be the first team to get first blood in this one, as already it will be a long punt downfield into the corner. Will be caught and brought forward just a tad. T7 challenging in the midfield across that right side wall. Now impressive launching it back down the other end of Rule 1. Now this one, though, finding itself in the middle. Double tap is there. It's accurate, but not quite accurate enough. Early signs of a lot of attacking force coming out of Rule 1 here.
Absolutely so, and a large clear downfield has been met by an orange player, and a double touch almost converted there, as Talum is just going to let that one whiz on by as Nada takes to the skies now, and something that I think is very important to look at from this Rule 1 team in terms of their technicalities is just how strong they are at controlling the play. Every single air dribble, every single 50-50 is on point, and they know how to take control of a series.
Exactly, that has been the difference so far in this first minute between the two teams, but that was nearly going through an open net, staring in the face of Rule 1, not able to take advantage. But Geekay, as we were saying, a team which haven't been able to maintain that ball possession for too long. This could be their first chance to have some sort of offensive pressure. T7 to the left side, off the ceiling now, goes down low. Will he get the double tap off the ground? He won't, still high, up in the centre, as it is going to be sent away, but not for too long. A powerful shot coming on and needing to be saved. T7 again with that follow-up, but off the ceiling does come Killers, who does set it away only for a short second. Now Faisal coming in with his next chance. Couldn't quite get high enough to knock that one down, and the pinching clear relinquishes that pressure from Rule 1.
Yeah, and a good lofted ball in the centre field. A demo came through as well there, but just touched away by the keeper. And Talum, a lot of space in the skies. It's going to opt for a flip reset. Gets 2 for his troubles, actually. Knocks it in field. Loose ball in the midfield. Spells a bit of early pressure for Impressive, and he's only just tucked it in that bottom left.
It was perfect accuracy. That's what I would say there, Psycho. Beautifully done. Saw everybody stranded on that goal line. One player tried to close it down, but couldn't get there in time. So Geekay take the lead early on here. It's all been about counterattacks for them. They've never had a long spell of pressure, and as soon as they do get that slight sniff of a chance, they're there to take it. They're there to strike, and that's exactly the same sort of venom that Rule 1 will need to try and find, and this one could be it, but it's stopped on the line.
And a clearance to come forth from Geekay as well, just to say goodbye to any sort of sustained pressure that Rule 1 might have opted for, as Faisal doinks one up high. You've got Kaliers now with a lot of boost in the tank. He's going to catch that flip reset, take it over to the backboard as well. And Rule 1 have already, well, maybe had 3 or 4 possible conversion opportunities, but every single one has been seen away at the last second by Geekay.
They've done very well defensively, haven't they? Made sure that even though they do get some quick offenses, my goodness, that ball flying across the net. I'm sure Geekay had a very small scare there, but as we were saying, the defense has been stellar so far. Nothing really to be able to break the boundaries of what Geekay are able to set out at this point so far. Still, the attack from Rule 1 hasn't really ended, but there's been nothing so far which we've generally had to turn around and say is quite scary, except from this one. But that was not able to be turned on through. Now look at this downfield though, Psycho, for just a second, but it is cut off.
Yeah, and a shot from Talum almost reaching the back net, but a defender there to see that one to the side. And Rule 1, just seconds ago, we saw an opportunity which very much, for a team of their caliber, should have been converted, arguably. So they're going to try and keep these opportunities going, these connections in field. As Rawas, surely he's going to look for a teammate here, opts for the 50-50 low, and Faisal's going to see this one out.
Still into the corner. It's going to be controlled. Luckily, it's just for a second, but that's a massive boom onto the backboard. Faisal having to send it out wide. The follow-up is setting down into the centre of the field. A beautiful middle of the field pass. No one able to get onto it. Now Faisal down the other end. Taken on by T7. Back to the centre, but no one again able to get onto the end of that one. Rule 1 don't have much time left here, Psycho. They're going to start panicking, but that's a lovely pass into the centre. Not able to be shot through. Geekay still holding on, but not for too long. This one off the upright of the goal. Still held at 1-0.
And I have to say, Suasis, if this is how things are going to look for the rest of the series, An unlikelier story may have never happened before. Rule 1 have had so many opportunities now to convert. Maybe 3, maybe 4 goals were possible for them in this game 1, but every single one has been seen away or wide of the margin with 30 seconds left. They need an opportunity now, and even that fake in front of those final defenders couldn't get some space for the shot to rip its way through.
Oh my word, they're trying everything, aren't they, Rule 1 in this game 1? They do not want to let it go, but I think now Geekay just want to play the slow game, but are they going to be allowed to? Here comes the shot, it's off the line, follow-up 2, blocked by T7, just at the last second, they just needed to touch the ground, and it will. Geekay Esports 1-0 up.
And what a performance from Geekay as well. They had those offensive opportunities in the early stages. Potentially could have got 2 to their names as well. But Rule 1, for the majority of that game, were in those offensive zones. They did look deadly. But the all-important conversion that you were very much praising Team Falcons for earlier just simply wasn't present in that game number 1.
Well, there we go. That is a fantastic performance by Geekay. Their attacks were not amazing. They took advantage of the one big opportunity they had, but when they were in their own defense and when it did look like there was going to be a goal-scoring opportunity for Rule 1, they just stopped it. I don't know what exactly they were doing. They were more just chucking themselves at the ball, hitting and hoping that something was going to go on, and then managing to bat the ball away. But it was a system that worked. But is it going to work again? Because I feel that Rule 1 are going to start making a few adaptations.
Yeah, and I think so as well. And the question of whether a performance like that can be repeated does come into question time and time again. And for that one, I fear that it might not be as repeatable as it seems. And for Geekay, I think their life in this series onwards is just going to get a little bit harder.
It definitely will. But ladies and gentlemen, 1-0 is the scoreline for Geekay so far. My prediction's going well. I'm quite happy over here, Psycho. I don't know how you're feeling over in the Rule 1 corner. And I'm also just interested to hear, like, what is their mentality going to be at this point? Because they've been in this, in this position before where they have been losing to Geekay. They lost in the Swiss. They don't want to lose here because they know what is on the line. Game 2 in Aquadome underway.
Is well and truly underway, and just to get back to your question there, Swasis, their mentality is going to be such a crucial factor in this series at large. As Rule 1, they know that this is a must-win series. If this series is dropped to them especially, well, a Game 1 going in Geekay's favour, that is their hopes over. They're not going to find themselves in that Rotterdam setting at the Major. This is such a necessary performance for Rule 1. And honestly, stakes have probably not been higher for this roster before.
They'll really be feeling the pressure here. Down on the ground, a strong 50 made by Kaliers. This pinch though, going across the centre of the field, having to be cut out early. Now down this left side. Will be a huge boom of field. Impressive there to send it over into the corner for Faisal, who does boom it again downfield. No major control being taken by either team right now. More just a game of ping pong at this point. Still down in the corner of Rule 1. Set up high. There is a chance here. He can tap it on down. He can't quite reach it, but the follow-up is going to be made by MENA, who makes it 1-0 for Rule 1.
And finally, a shot has been converted by this orange side as a touch to the side wall by Kaliers has given that space and the opportunity for Nada to strike on that open net, and I think that might be one of the first sort of uncontested opportunities perhaps we've seen.
This one to the backboard as well. Could there be another chance? There is another chance. It's Nader with a follow-up for his second goal, and Rule 1 second too. It's starting to get a bit more comfortable. This is the Rule 1 that I think you were expecting, wasn't it, Psycho? To get goals like this so quickly.
Oh, absolutely, and especially as comfortably and easy as that goal seemed. It certainly wasn't, as that ball was smashed up high to the backboard. A very difficult angle to convert from, and a strong shot did work its way in now. And Rule 1 are very much controlling of the pressure downfield at the moment, as well as Talamer's just going to change that mindset just a little bit. Rule 1, they're going to be gathering up in numbers in this back corner to try and see this one away. A touch high is going to lead Rule 1 to come chasing back into this blue half, and very comfortable, it must be said, for Rule 1 so far.
Still down in the corner, a pitch from Impressive. Lets him try and get downfield, puts it onto the backboard as well. Kaliers had to make a quick defensive clear too. It's in that corner. He has a chance to put it to the backboard and does. Impressive, the first player on the case though. Great first touch by Nader with the follow-up. Can he reach it in time to get the flip reset? He can't. This ball now trickles down into midfield. That's an awkward play from T7, but fortunately Faisal was there to help him with the clear. Now down to the ground, impressive. Long boom downfield. Faisal looking for the bumps, and that does go on through. I'm not too sure how that happened.
And that makes two of us, Swasis, as the goal has fortuitously landed in the back net courtesy of a boom from the halfway line from Impressive. And, well, swimming like sharks Geekay were in the opposition offense, trying to lurk for that bump, and it may not have came through, but it was certainly enough to disrupt the defense there.
It's an interesting goal, and not one which Rule 1 will be too pleased about, but this ball back down into the middle. Ruaz needed to get a long launching ball away. I'm sure Rule 1 might be feeling the pressure now, but look at the dive in. That was from, I believe, Calais. Nearly managed to turn that one to be on target. Now Calais again, long boom downfield, makes the follow-up too. Will be needed to get the little doink forward. He can get that small touch, but it's still not enough to pressure the GK defense like they were in game 1. But finally, as we've mentioned, they have had their breakthrough, so they're going to be looking to try and set this ship to be sailing. But here we go. Here he is. Can he get it through? Dribbling it slowly. Nearly Lionel Messi-esque there, but still wasn't quite good enough to match the Argentinian. But this shot could be one. No, it's not. It's going to be Faisal diving down from the heavens above.
And Impressive is going to see this one to the side as well. A demo trying to open up some space from Kalias as well, but GK already on that counter-offensive as Impressive. It's going to take this one backboard bound. Clearance sent straight back into the opposition half. Right now, GK trying to work for any sort of opportunity they can get. It's been, well, 3.5 minutes so far in this game number 2, and maybe one opportunity is all they've had to their names.
Oh, here we go on the line. Saved by Nader. Needed to make that one and did. This ball, though, still down into the center. GK really starting to turn up the heat here, Psycho. This is a side which we haven't seen so far before. Look at the demolition there as well from Impressive, I believe. But Faisal, does he have the boost? He can't. So close. It's taken away downfield, but GK with that 1 minute timer want to get a goal. Could it be now? It's down. It's low. It's safe on the line. Follow up off the post. Nobody can force it through, but finally it is by Impressive. It's 2-2.
It is 2-2, and eventually the back of the net has been found as a 50-50 off to the side to Impressive. And the keeper was tantalisingly close to just poking that one up off the ground and seeing it above the crossbar. But GK, like you said, they've been on the offensive of late in this last minute or so, and they've really turned the heat up.
They're looking good now, Psycho. They're feeling themselves. Rule 1, throwing away a 2-0 lead. Shaking in their boots. T7 nearly knocking it down towards the net. Bruaz was in a good position to just get that one clear. Impressive as well. Can he take it down to the side? He can. Not for too long. That's a big boom. Who's there to get back? It is going to be Killers. As again, T7 round that side. We'll need Ruaz now to take control of this ball, bringing it forward. 50s2, it's going to be awkward, still chasing it down. Can he get it into a dangerous position? He can. Will the shot go through? It's off the crossbar, and Faisal needing to get the clear, but it's still not over. Faisal again needs to get it to the ground, and does get it to the ground, and we have game 2 overtime.
We absolutely do, Swasis, and I know you touched slightly on the mental side of things earlier. If Rule 1 drop this game, there is going to be some serious problems for this team, and they need to make sure overtime is pushed in their direction, because, well, a 2-0 deficit is not something you want to be finding yourself back from. As Impressive now is going to take this one to the wall. A nice pre-flip central as well. Talon over to the backboard, tries to lunge for that double touch, but couldn't quite find it.
Stretching with all his might, but still couldn't quite make it in time. Nader on the line, making some really important saves here. He is the defensive master of this team, but it's gonna be through. Rule 1, take a victory in game 2.
And it's off of that breakaway opportunity from Kalias and the disruption on the back lines from Rawas as well. If you do give Rule 1 that space to sort of work their magic, they are sure to punish, and a beautifully put away goal for them.
Fantastically done. They really needed that as well, didn't they, Psycho? Because I think if they did go down and lose that, we could be seeing a tactical timeout being called. Because when you are 2-0 down, that is going to be a moment where you start going, oh no. That's not fun, especially when you lost in the Swiss bracket to this team, and you know that GK, once they get some momentum behind them, that they're going to keep on pushing through and getting better and better. You want to stunt it in their tracks. But thankfully, Rule 1 do get that victory, and we're put down to a best of 5.
Absolutely, and for GK, it wasn't a poor performance from them either. Rule 1 really had to work for the goals they put in, and also GK on the offensive front, just before that overtime came to fruition, really were starting to liven up a bit as well. They were connecting more so in those midfields. They were stretching that defense thin. They looked very, very promising indeed. And for Rule 1, they really need to try and continue this momentum forward, as Game 1 itself was very much in their favour. They just couldn't see themselves across the finish line.
They really couldn't, but now we are, excuse me, going to be seeing what will be taking place in game number 3. We're starting to see as well more of the typical Rule 1 style, with Khalez and Roaz being the two players really igniting that offense, and Nader being the one sitting back and defending. But will all things change once again as we head into game number 3? Here comes impressive flip reset, a monstrous 1-2. Roaz, so well prepared on his own backboard, takes that one away, as now the ball is sent downfield into GK's half.
An easy thing to do for a player of his calibre, it must be said, as Talon is going to wait poised on the wall and try and see away this potential counter from Rule 1, as Roaz driving down the field there could only beat one player. Impressive now. He's going to try and dink one high above Nader, an infield ball as well. It looks threatening to this defence. Unfortunately, Talent couldn't get across on that occasion, as he still has boost in the tank and is looking for options to follow central.
This one launched downfield. Will be in the centre as well. Talon there, just to carry on with that touch. Sends it to the backboard too, but Roaz around that side, finding it quite difficult to be able to maintain control, so will be cut out by Impressive. Nader, though, falling off the ceiling, but zero boost in his tank means he can't carry on going. So here is Talon, flip reset, tries to bring it round, knocks it down as well, into the path of Faisal, who slams it on in.
Gorgeous finish, it must be said, from Faisal. And Talon, he's done so well to just get up on the backboard, and he gave himself the space with that close control for the infield pass, and the finish very much spoke for itself.
Wonderfully done by the team of GK. Trying to bring themselves back from that overtime defeat. They probably felt that it was theirs to win, especially from coming down from 2-0 down, and able to bring it into their own favour. And now they take the lead here in game number 3, as this one does find itself in the middle. Will be Khalez up onto that backboard. Talon, tough read, can't make it. Will be down low. Can he get another touch through? Nader with his shot is saved on the line by Impressive. Now Roaz brings it down to the ground. Faisal and everybody else around him from GK just sat near that ball. A chance for Rule 1 there to try and break out, but they couldn't quite do it. That will be Faisal into the corner. Takes the 100 boost. Now sets himself into the sky. Gets challenged by Nader. Nader wants to set it down to the middle, but it will have to be Roaz in the end put into the backboard. But Talon this time can make that read. Now it's going to be Khalez. What can he do? Knocks it over one to the backboard once again. A place where Rule 1 are constantly attacking here, Psycho.
Absolutely, but it's not too clinical from them so far. They're really trying to hope that cracks are going to form in this GK defence, and time again we've seen it stand tall, and it's doing so at the moment as well. As Rule 1 are going to take this one to the backboard now with a shooting opportunity, potentially bailed out by Impressive on that last defender. It was a difficult save for him to make, but a beautifully well put across save from Impressive there, and Faisal is going to continue his pressure moving forwards, as immediately Rule 1 are straight back into that corner where they've been for so long this series so far.
It's not just that corner that they've been in, it's also that the ball is constantly be going towards the GK backboard, which almost seems to be a bit of a stronghold for GK. So Rule 1 need to try and take that in mind, that they should be knowing at this point that whenever they go and approach that sort of area, that most of their offensive attempts will not be successful. I'd like to see a few more close control dribbles, because we saw that from Khalez earlier on, where he did take it down to the ground, and it was a wonderful bit of play, just like this one is. Can they slot it in? It will be Roaz, and it's 1-1.
Such a difficult thing for the defence to deal with, as well as that infield pinch certainly caught the player at the front post off guard. And well, he could only squish it back infield, and the finish fantastic from Rule 1 as well. And something that you just touched on, Suasis about how they're very much not opting for that close control Rule 1 in those offensive zones at the moment. Previously, when I've seen this team perform to their highest capabilities, it has been that control that's been the difference maker. When they are opting for these just downfield, boom the ball, hit and hope, try to make that defense collapse, it's not working as well. And for Rule 1, I'm hoping we can have a change of pace from them.
It will be nice to see them try and change things up, as you say there, Psycho. But also Geekay need to try and formulate a plan to take on. Oh my goodness, Talon, what is that? I don't think he really meant to tug that one in the air, but he still managed to do it anyway. Here comes Impressive, down to the middle. Talon there waiting for just a second. Faisal up to the backboard. Nader the one to set it out wide. Talon again sets it to the middle of the park, but will be Rule as this time. And a team bump coming out of Rule 1. Nader there still. Tried to get the pinch with Impressive to send it towards the goal, but couldn't quite direct it enough. But here comes Khalid down onto the ground. So Impressive in those scenarios. This one to the middle again, abusing that corner as well, where half the time I see a lot of teams be doing that in these scenarios, in these high-level games here, Psycho. But also, when you do launch it into the corner, it's normally very easily readable for your opposition.
Absolutely so, and it's quite difficult to work your way past the defense if there's, well, a player propped up at the front post, maybe one in support and one on the backboard, wherever else needs be to support. And at the moment, maybe a little bit more creativity is required. There's a boom downfield from Nada, is going to meet Faisal. An awkward touch, sees it back into the opposite corner as Impressive is going to lace this one against the wall. And Geekay, a team who we've seen very much cemented in their own defensive half, have almost been gifted an opportunity by Rule 1 there.
I thought it was going to go back down the other end as well. Still needs to be saved there by Roaz. Stopped on the line. A big chance there for Geekay after a monumental mistake being made by Rule 1. But they managed to keep their cool, fend off that attack. And now they've got another overtime to deal with. Only a few seconds in. This is a dangerous shot as well. Needing two players from Rule 1 to commit. Talon again on this corner ball. Couldn't quite bring himself around, so it will be down to Impressive. Brings it low, takes the 50. But Khalid is there, so strong in his challenge, is able to fend off this offense.
Nada's done well as well to see it past that looming defender in the air. There's a double touch off the sidewall. It's learnt for us, Impressive. Reaching out for that bottom right-hand corner. A fake that came through there almost disrupted the flow of that Rule 1 defense and made it a completely unreadable play as Rawas is going to try and loft this one up high, but it's going to go in favour of Geekay Esports as they have plenty of boost and time to try and recalibrate, set up again for their next offensive opportunity. Was faced with an interesting pitch and field. Almost a direct replication of what we saw on the other end there, Suasis.
I really don't know what is happening right now. Rule 1 seems to be crumbling at the moment here, Psycho. Every single time there's a simple touch or a simple clear they need to make, there is some sort of error. And Geekay start to need to be accounting for that. Maybe push forward, try and disrespect your opponents a little bit, because the errors are starting to seep on through. And if you can catch them out just that one time, you could see yourselves being 2-1 up in this series. And what a beautiful thing that would be. This ball again deep into the territory of Rule 1, but will be brought out by Nada all on his own. Can he get it through? He nearly can, but Talon on the line stops it just in time.
Vital block there, an infield ball as well towards Impressive. That net was wide open for him, and it was wide of the margin. Nada now reaching out for that top left-hand corner. Another pivotal save from Geekay. We've said it so often about them, but how long can they hold on as Faisal? Well, a bump was lunging towards me, just about avoided that and got the ball at the same time. Rawas is really going to take control of this offense, and they're just going to test the defense over and over again. There's another ball lofted into the corner. Nada now back in field. Faisal a dink up high, but it's still going to be favouring Rule 1 as the shots keep on working their way through.
Peppering the net, and finally something could happen there. No! Nada on the line, denied once again. Rawaz, what can he do? Takes it low, take it down low. It's still not good enough. Now Nada's turn to make the approach. And Faisal with a massive clear. Could it be the counter-attack of dreams? It won't be. Rawaz on the line. That should not turn in two. It's getting so close for either side. Talon on his own. Can he be the one to finish it off? He cannot. Ladies and gentlemen, what a series we have on our hands. Both of these teams going toe-to-toe, but no one able to break them apart.
And I think the best word we can use to describe this at the moment is utter chaos as an infield ball has actually stretched out 2 Rule 1 defenders and very much could have been the opportunity which landed in the net eventually after, well, about 1 billion shots have been put on target so far this game. I don't need to check the stats in order to find that one out, as Nada is going to take to the skies. A team bump as well is not going to aid the affair there. Talon with an interesting touch back into the corner. And a very strong clearance out. Talon already lurking downfield, potentially getting that boost, potentially trying to disrupt that back lines. But crucially, he could not be found downfield. And Rule 1, they look so scary, but simply nothing has found the back of the net. I'm going to wait just a second, as you say, as Talon with another shooting opportunity, once again seen away.
Oh, but here comes Roaz. Can he beat the last man? Killers takes it low, makes the fake, and that's going to be Rule 1 to take the victory in Game 3 after 3 minutes and 50 seconds of overtime.
And that last defender had absolutely no hope for Geekay Esports. Even if he got that touch, even if he got that block, the momentum was in favour of that attacker. And, well, he could have just opted for a dunk equally so. The fake was what paid off for them at that last minute. And potentially that little bit of creativity is what pushed them over the line. And Rule 1, I daren't think about how many opportunities they had that game, but I think full props can be given for Geekay, especially so as well. There were so many times where they were stuck in that defensive area for maybe 1 or 2 minutes at a time and still held on. They still had the resources to deal with it, and they still supported themselves as a team where mattered most.
Exactly, but now we need to see that from both sides of the field, you know? That was a fantastic overtime, and it is great to see that these 2 teams are doing so well. I'm seeing so much support sent over to GK's way as well in chat, saying that they are playing so flipping well. And I tell you what, Psycho, they're right. They really are. You've already mentioned how good their defense has been, and now they really need to start turning it up on the offense as well. Be as unpredictable as Rule 1 are being. Rule 1, when they go on the attack, that's how they managed to get that goal. Khalir's there with the fake, pressured the bump, opened up the way for that goal to come on through from Roaz, and now they need to just keep on doing that, bullying their opposition into mistakes. The bumps is a new avenue for them to approach, and they might need to continue on doing that. Game 4, though, is happening right now. Utopia Coliseum under the stars is going to be a beautiful scenery for us. But what's even better than that scenery is the Rocket League on the pitch.
Absolutely so, especially that previous game, as an early shot from Khalir's has actually found the back of the net, and early tensions certainly devoid. At an instant there as Faisal, he was in the right spot at the right time, but the contact simply wasn't enough.
It's just unfortunate there for GK to concede this early on, but Rule 1 starting to get a grip of this game, getting better and better as they go on through. Does he have the boost? He does not, but it's a big old miss on the line by GK, and that is them going to find themselves 2-0 down.
Yeah, an impressive alone at the back. Well, he lunged out, hopeful that he could get the 50 required. And that last defender in Faisal once again having a difficult time, and that's twice in 17 seconds potentially. He's made a crucial mistake. And another infield ball, a demo to match as well. Fortunately for GK, not a third one to go in there.
I feel like Rule 1 have really put together a bit of an idea of what to do to take down GK. Within the first 30 seconds here, Psycho, they have been going ham for demolitions, and it's been working. You can see the pressure really starting to get to GK here as they can't get out of their own half. That ball has just been consistently launched into the blue area. Impressive, the first one to finally bring it out and breathe a bit of life into the side of GK. But straight away, Roaz on that ball will just hand it over to Khalir's, who just takes it downfield.
Yeah, and it's as easy as that at the moment, as Nada with boost as well is going to take this one to the backboard, reaching out, hopeful of that dunk, and actually found it there as GK going to try and counter-attack, but simply no one there in the right position to deal with the situation. As impressive now, catches a touch, and Talon trying to swarm this back line. As you can see, a little bit of desperation, 2 players lunging for that one ball in the corner, and for GK, something that they've not been able to do crucially is keep themselves in the offensive zones for too long. Once they're there, it's very much a short-lived opportunity. For GK, they need something more to give.
Oh, Oh, well, here comes Calais, all on his own, nearly bumping the last man out the way as well. A 2-0 lead is good, but 3-0 would almost be an early bath for GK after this one match, as they still have another light to go. That's an impressive shot coming out there as well from Talon, not able to still beat that defense on the backboard now. Will be Calais to send it wide and away to safety, as Talon now, long boom upfield. Faisal trying to read onto the end of that as well, and nearly managed to, but unfortunately that ball just going a bit too far away from him, as now it's brought down to the ground. Here comes Calais, all on his own, tries to dribble it around Talon, but he just about makes the read.
Superb defending there, it must be said as well, from GK. And even though at the moment they look almost down and out in this fourth game, there is so much time left on the clock. And just to throw you back to a previous situation, which looks very similar to this indeed, was one of those earlier games in which Rule 1 had this 2-0 lead. They had established it early on. And GK, they were comfortable in making that comeback and forcing that overtime situation. Can they do it again is the question, as Talon downfield, a ball goes long. It's going to be difficult for Nada, but he just about gets up in time. Unfortunately for GK, what looks like a free opportunity for them has been stuffed away.
I bet they're going to be pretty upset with that one there. That was a massive chance. The power on the boom was as much as it could be, but the power on this one too from Ruas is too much to handle for GK. 2-0 they managed to bring back, but 3-0 with only 1 minute and 53 seconds left seems near on impossible for them.
Yeah, and as you said, Suasis, earlier on, Rule 1, they're looking sharp right now. They're certainly not messing about, and once again showing that level of control and domination that they are capable of as a roster. With 1 minute 45 on the clock, it's certainly a lot of time left for GK to do something, but 3 goals is nigh on an impossibility, as Nada looks for this backfield demo as well, and almost a fourth there if it saw its way through.
See, Nada here as well has been a big presence on the offense of Rule 1, which is a bit of a surprise. Normally he is the player that sits back and just waits for any defensive opportunities he can jump upon, but now we keep on going forward, and Rule 1 are walking away here in Utopia Coliseum. Comfortably done. Fantastic bit of dribbling there from Ruas just to take around that last man. I think there was a bump there too coming out from Rule 1, which just cleared the way. And it is just beautiful Rocket League coming out of Rule 1 right now. Next to no mistakes being made. Controlling GK in every aspect of the match, except from this one maybe. Oh no, it's going to be Calais there making a nice and simple save from the ceiling.
And he's done enough to take it past one defender. And, well, force a 50 on the ground as well, just to show the quality of that particular player. And Rule 1, every single one of these players is mechanical, they are controlling, and importantly, they are smart. They know how to work past this team in GK at the moment, as Faisal, he did have that opening opportunity, but it would have been a silver lining if it did work its way through. Rule 1, 40 seconds left on the clock. I'm not sure there is a better way possible to try and set yourself up for match points, Suasis.
With a 5-0 scoreline? And Calais just doing this? Yeah, you're probably right there, Psycho. I'll be honest with you. He fakes it all the way and just takes it past all 3 players of GK. When you have someone on your team that is able to do that sort of mechanical trickery against your opposition, you're going to be just striking fear into them every single time. Look, only Talon left all alone in the back line. Nada to get the sick goal on the board here for Rule 1. GK have just fell apart.
Absolutely so, and you really can't blame them after that 2-0 deficit, and they realised that they were down and out of the play. They tried to switch up something, and that's the aggression we're seeing. And well, how much further they're willing to extend from their own back lines. And Rule 1, for a team that's been so comfortable in the offensive zones all series long, that little bit extra space to navigate has given them so many more opportunities. And it's very much a consolation for Talon, potentially a Brazil to come as well. We'll see how fortuitous we can be on this particular evening, but I think it's about time I mentioned something crucially important, and that was the previous time that these teams met in that Swiss stage, in the Fall Invitational. It did go the way of GK, and, well, very much some tides have turned of recent. They
really have Rule 1 here totally in control. Nothing phasing them at all. Could they get the 7th here? No, they can't. They all launch themselves at it, but it's still alive. It would be a very cool thing to see, but I don't believe it will be happening. Geekay, though, so much to try and reset. Their mental is surely going to be hurting after this one, especially knowing that they have match point to contend with. Oh, they nearly managed to get it. That was so close. Geekay defending for their lives. They do not want it to go to 7-1, and it will not go to 7-1. Rule 1 here, taking the victory in game number 4. 3-1 in the lead of a series. Surely there's got to be something called here.
Absolutely, and if these teams do continue on their path, well, Geekay Esports especially, if they continue on without that timeout, you've got to think they're confident in continuing. If they do take that timeout, though, it does give them an extra bit of time to really find out what might have been going wrong for them, and that's such a difficult thing to unpackage, even from a coaching perspective, when a team like Rule 1 is just running rings around you for 5 minutes straight. What is it that you can do, Suasis?
Not much. Really not much. I think at that point, your coach has just got to turn around and say, look, it's just a one-off. Let's calm down. Let's think about what our game plan is going into it. Well, whatever it is Geekay are doing, sitting back and defending, allowing big booms to come in from the side of Rule 1, maybe something on those sort of lines, then just go back to that sort of style, revert to it, because it worked. The first game you played, you won your game, and that was a decent system. Obviously, we've seen Rule 1 change up what they're doing. They've started to bring that ball really close to them and hold that possession, but they're going to be able to think of different ways to be able to take down Rule 1, and this is the time to implement them as well, especially when you are on match point against you. They're really going to need something special here, Geekay. 5 minutes on the clock. Rule 1 only 5 minutes away from the grand final. Let's see how this one plays out.
Almost crucially for Rule 1 as well, a shot at that spot in the major, depending on the eventualities from the other side of the bracket, and potentially the finals as well. Every single series today is pretty much, well, deterministic of a specific outcome, and for Rule 1, this is a must win, and these next 4 minutes and 30 seconds could well shape their future in that major.
Up onto the backboard. Cleared away by Nada. Impressive now. To the infield, Talon teased the jump up at it, but was a little bit too close to the play. Now Faisal in the midfield. Now it will be Killers all the way down the other way. Can he put it through just off the post? Didn't have the boost to bring himself around. What a pass that is into Impressive. Takes control. Can he take it underneath everyone? He cannot. As will be Khalils needing a want to be there once again to take that one away. This one flicked up into the middle of the park. Impressive now, in control, hands it off to Faisal. Wants to put it down into the centre, but can't quite beat the Rule 1 defence. The first time that they've really been tested for a long amount of time. Now the breakout, Nada, flip reset. Can he get it through? It will go through! I think there was a bump on the line, but it's still enough for Rule 1 to take the lead.
And you can see the danger imminent as that final Geekay attacker went through and Rule 1 were presented with that space. It's exactly the same goal we saw them convert earlier on in this series. That bump rising forwards. One player with all the control in the world to see it past. Impressive now to the backboard. Finds Talum as well. Blocked away by the defense there as Nada is going to spew this one back infield. Talum now stretching back for that corner, and I do hate to be optimistic when Geekay are 1-0 down, but in the first minute and a half so far, they've looked a lot more threatening than they have done in the entirety of that previous game.
They have looked more threatening, Psycho, but at the same time, there's been no real bite to what they've been trying to do. There's no big goals coming on through or anything at all. Rule 1, they've had a few panicky moments, but it really hasn't been to a point of where we'd be like, right, this is going to be a goal. There's been no big showing of that. Hopefully Talon can bring up something special here to be the first one to do it, as Impressive is taken away once again. Nada just in control, reversing, chilling out, spinning around as well. He just does whatever he wants at this point. The comfort being shown by Rule 1 is fantastic, but comfortable no more. Saved on the line, full up as well, taken away by Rule 1, holding strong.
What a masterclass that was, and Faisal and Impressive are going to try and send this one back into the offense. The double commit it was that found its way back into this zone. As Faisal is going to smartly opt to just poke that back into the corner. The infield pass, a little bit dangerous there, but Khalils nonetheless is still going to opt that close control on the counter. Nada now back infield towards Rawas, and a shot far wide of the margin.
Still though, Rule 1, even though they've got the lead, they smell the venom, they smell the blood. Can they get it done here? They can! It's knocked on down. A beautiful double tap pass coming in from Rawas into the path of Killers, who has just no problem at all. Killers is just a beautiful positioned player in that scenario. Was making sure that if the double tap didn't go quite right, he was there for the follow-up before anyone from GK can, and that is 2-0. It's looking pretty dark here for GK.
Looking incredibly dark, Swasis.
Even darker.
And Kalias is going to close the blinds. He's going to shove across the curtains. He's going to turn off the lights, because GK right now, if they have any chance of coming back in 2 minutes' time, they need to get a goal on the board very quickly indeed.
They're going to have to, and I don't know if that will be taking place. Look straight away, Nada faking it down low, hands it off to Kalias. Open net, can he turn it in? He can't. Nada with the follow-up, can't do it either. But now it is just controlling the play. They just want to keep that ball in the midfield. Watch Impressive as he flies past the ball. Tell him now with his chance. Takes it up high. Taken away from him by Rawas. We have 90 seconds left, but I don't think that's enough time. Rule 1 just walking themselves to a victory here.
They absolutely are, but more unlikely things have happened, and so, well, I think it's only reasonable to just hold on that extra second. As Kalias, well, another player in support of the front post, are going to see that one away. A demo lunge for at the back line's impressive, with a very impressive 50-50, but it's still not enough to get past Nada.
It's insane. It is absolutely insane. When you have Rawas hunting you down as well, and then Nada just that controlled in a 50-50, where he knew he had the advantage, he had the speed, he had the mindset for it, and everything planned out into beat Impressive. Rule 1 now will be looking on to the grand final. 5-0 now for Rule 1. Honestly, if Falcons do manage to make the grand final, they've got a real test on their hands.
Absolutely so, Swace, and it was something that had just appeared in my mind as well, as Rule 1
Yep.
taken down Falcons before, and not just once as well. Moving forwards into what could potentially be the grand finals. Well, we don't know the eventuality of the other semi-finals just yet. It might not be Team Falcons working their way through to that grand finals. Veloce, with a potential miracle run to come through, really could throw a spanner in the works and lead to some of the eventualities that are possible here tonight, Swaces.
Well, if Veloce do manage to get their victory and Rule 1 make the final and then lose, we have that chance for the tiebreaker. That's a pretty juicy 50-50. No, it's not 50-50. That's a double tap, Swaces. What are you talking about? I know my mechanics, I do promise. But it wasn't even a double tap. All right, yeah, I really don't know what is going on. This game has broken my mind, Psycho, all right? Everything that's going on in MENA has broken my mind, as it's just crazy out there. The fact that a tiebreaker could actually happen is nuts to me. And then Rule 1 versus Falcons in a grand final, the winner takes it all. Oh my goodness. Why would you want to be anywhere else right now other than watching what's going on in MENA? What? Huh? What happened? Oh no, Psycho, please take over. I'm losing my mind. I've gone insane.
Interesting. Well, whilst Swasis continues his wonderful Scooby-Doo impression, a ball is going to find the back of the net for Rule 1. We're presented with exactly the same scoreline as we were prior, and I think it's only wise to build the tension, because we may have a Brazil that you mentioned earlier, Swasis, and potentially just 10 seconds away from it if Rule 1 can continue this offensive pressure. But unfortunately, the dying seconds, I don't think that's something we're going to see from them. But what a performance this has been from Rule 1. Ever since that first game, they looked hungry for that win. In that first game, they were commanding of the play, and when push came to shove, they were the stronger team on the day.
It took them a bit of time to warm up, but as soon as they did, Psycho, we saw the Rule 1, which we all know and love. They were phenomenal after that game number 3. Game 4 just seemed to click something in them. Then Game 5, they just carried on. They kept on running it down and getting better and better and better. But it's also due to, I think, GK just falling apart a bit. They should really have called themselves a bit of time out there as well, just to try and reset the mentality. But they just didn't do so for some reason. I don't know if I'm being stupid here or something, but yeah, they really needed to try and reset themselves and bring themselves back to their old form, but it wasn't meant to be. Raw 1 are able to make their way to the grand final. Geekay there as well with 3 regionals on the bounce, being top 4. So they've done very well. They've done very, very well in their run, but now it is all down to who Raw 1 will face in that final. What are your feelings about Raw 1 right now? Can they do it?
I'm going to be honest with you, Suasis. I don't think they're going to have an easy time in that grand finals, regardless of which of those teams step up to the plate, because Veloce, if they can win that opposing semi-finals, just imagine their motivation moving forwards. They know they can't clinch that major spot at this position, and so maybe nerves are off the table when they think, well, what's left to lose for us? Let's give it our best shot, and if Falcons take that win, they're only just continuing their domination. Not a single game dropped, I must remind you, so far in this regional, in this fall invitational.
That's just a ridiculous stat. Do you reckon it's ever been done before? I'm not too sure if it has, that someone has gone perfect throughout the whole of a regional. Not a single game lost. We could be seeing it for the very first time here today, ladies and gentlemen. That means that you should not go anywhere at all, because after this break, we'll be setting up the game of Falcons versus Veloce.